Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we move to the chapter 2, the overview of organization of information. So, information organization is one form of bibliographic control. So, remember last semester, IMD124 access to info, you are being taught about the bibliographic control. So, it is to make sure all materials are managed and stored systematically for easy retrieval process. So, information organization of a library or information center are categorized into two main components. What is it? Alright, the first one is physical organization and the second one is intellectual organization. For the physical organization, it is a process of a description the material may by using a certain standard. Okay, for example, we do have AACR, Anglo-American Cataloging Rules. Okay, for the determination of ISBD and access point. Now we do have RDA. Okay, that being applied in most of the library in Malaysia. Alright, and then LCSH, Library of Congress subject heading. CSLI subject heading for the selection of the subject. Okay, LCC, Library of Congress, Library of Cataloging, Library of Congress classification. DDC, Dewey Decimal Classification. UDC, Universal Decimal Classification for the classification number. While for the intellectual organization, it involves the arrangement and compilation of the materials, including style of arrangement, authoritative reference or cross-ref, which is C and C also. Okay. So this is the overview of the organization of information. Okay, starting with the information, go to the bibliographic control. That's why last semester you're being taught about the bibliographic control. And then move to the intellectual organization plus physical organization. This one that we are going to cover for this semester, alright? And then move to the cataloging process. This is next semester. Okay, you're being taught about descriptive cataloging. While for the subject and classification cataloging is when you expand your knowledge or you further your study at the degree level, then you will be teach about the subject and classification cataloging. And the last one, complete the record catalog. That is the overview. Okay, the basics of the information organization is all about. So the nature of the organization of recorded information. Okay, Ronald Hagler, in his book The Bibliographic Records and Information Technology, identifies 6 functions of bibliographic records. Okay, there is a 6 function of bibliographic records. Okay, this is the famous question that always being asked while final exam. If you want to check, you just go to the previous semester and previous semester questions. Okay, exam questions. So you will fine. All right, this question always been repeating. Okay, to be asked this semester. I don't know. Okay, the result still sorry, the question, okay, that will come out in your final test, I don't know. Okay, because it's been done by the resource person at Kelantan. Okay, so just wait for it. And then what is bibliographic control? Refer IMD 124. Alright, so Hagler's listed the function which emphasize upon the work of librarian. It also reflects the major activities involved in the organization of recorded information. So the 6th function, what is it? The first one is identifying the existence of all types of information resources as they are made available. Right? A book may be published or website may be established, but if no one know of its existence except the person involved in its creation, it will be no use to anyone. Okay? You can have your own idea, you can share your own thought, you can share your own knowledge that maybe you find is quite useful to being shared to others, but it's not being managed by anyone. You don't know how to expose that kind of material, how you don't know how to promote that material, so it's quite useless ideas. Okay, you just made it and then you just left it, right? Nobody know, nobody want to explore about it, so it's quite lack of skills, okay, while doing that. So just it will be no use, okay, to anyone. Alright, and then the existence of material must be known in order to make it useful for everyone. How? Okay, existence and identify can be made in many ways, such as publisher announcement, email announcement, review, subject related listing, and so on. So most of publisher create catalog listing their products along with abstract for them. Okay, they click the catalog and then there is an abstract. So people will just read to the abstract first. Either it's fit or not with their needs. If yes, then they can buy that book or material itself. Okay. Reference tools such as a book in print are product of this activity. Okay, some online journals send regular email announcement with outline of content to let reader know, okay, when a new issue is available, and some organization allow people to sign up to receive email announcement about new information that available. Okay, this is the way how people promotes, okay, the knowledge itself, promotes the materials itself, okay, that being readily available outside of the library or outside of the organization, but they want to know more about that kind of material so they can buy. Okay, that's the way how they do. The second one is identifying the work contained within those information resources or as part of them. In major of cases, one information resource is equal to one intellectual work. One information resource equal to one. But a collection of short story or a group of image may be considered to be an information resources as a whole, or each individual story or artistic work may be considered an information resources. Okay. How? It need to be identified separately. For example, a collection of short story as a whole, it may be considered to be an information resource. Alternatively, each individual story may be considered to be an information resources because this is a group of collection short story. Okay, that come from maybe different authors. Okay, different creators. So that's why they should have being classified, either it's fall under one person or it fall by the group. Okay. The third one is systematically pulling together this information resource into collections in libraries, archive, museum, internet communication files, and other such depository. So the librarian, archivist, and curator will have to make sure the information resources are grouped together into the collections. Okay, for the material in the web and internet, it must put systematically in order to make sure it is available for user. Alright, bear in mind, definitely we cannot control, okay, the information come from the internet and also websites, okay, because everybody have the authority or have the how we call as chances, okay, to write anything, okay, any view, okay, so we cannot control it because it depends on the individual itself. But if it relates to our organization, especially library, museum, and archive, so we should know, okay, how to categorize it, okay, in the proper way, so that people, when they access to the website that belong to that organization, they know how, what the things that they want to find. Okay. And number four, producing lists of this information resource prepared according to standard rules for citation. In library environment, the library will have to create the bibliographies, index, and library catalog. Okay. In archive environment, the archivist will have to create archival finding aids, while in museum environment, the curator will have to create museum register. That is the tools that being used in the organization, in the information, sorry, in the organization, either library, museum, or archive. Sorry. Number five, providing names, title, subject, and other useful access to these information resources. So the success of retrieval of information resources through lists depends on the inclusion of sufficient metadata. Alright, and then it must follow a standard, involve a proper assessment and authority controls. But because there is a standard that being developed, okay, so we just follow directly, okay, what have been classified before this, so that the process of growing the material itself also can be done. Okay, you can just find out by using certain metadata. What is metadata? In the most simple word, is data that explain another data. Name, Chashira Jamin. So name itself is considered as a metadata. Okay, name, metadata. Whose name? Chashira binti Jamil. That is the example of metadata. That one lah. Okay, so you can just go and read by your own to expand your knowledge what this metadata is all about. And the number six is providing the means of locating each information resources or a copy of it. All right, at least a century, the location of information resources is a value added by institution. So the catalog or other lists are created in order to give the exact physical location. Traditionally, bibliographies and indexes have not given location. Okay, bibliographies list information resource that exists somewhere but seldom tell where. Indexes give larger resource in which smaller work being listed can be found. For example, the journal in which an article can be found. Okay, but do not give the physical location of the larger resources. But in lists that include electronic resources found on the internet, it is now common to give the direction, okay, direct location in the form of the URL, just based on the URL. Okay, that's why part one, you've been exposed by the APA, MLA, and so on. That is the way how you want to retrieve the collection of the material that you are listed in your reference itself. Okay. In order to accomplish Hegler's sixth function of bibliographic control, adequate and sufficient metadata is needed. Without this metadata, information resources could not be made known to the world. Okay, next in the chapter 6, later on we're going to discuss about this Hegler's sixth function. Alright. So a peek at the world history. History stated that 90% of human history has been lost. Primitive people have no effective method to preserve material. Okay. 3000 before century, Sumerians in the Middle East invented the first methods. Cuneiform inks on clay tablets. First one unearthed in 1802. Okay, while 1500 before century, the Chinese developed a more extensive list of character in their system of writing that they curve on the turtle shell and emboss on bronze vessels. Okay, this is we want you to know that part of managing the information is quite crucial. Okay, because previous one, okay, we don't have any methods to prevent or to preserve that kind of materials. Okay, so many of these written documents were destroyed through war, prejudice, and common neglect. Okay, papyrus scroll at Alexandria Library became the fuel to heat the public bath, and the library was destroyed during the times of military siege. In the Muslim world, many best libraries were destroyed by the European Crusader as the swept through Syria and Palestine. In fact, Palestine until now, okay, they're still facing the war, the process of war. So they prefer to help the country, okay, to win this war compared to have the time to preserve that kind of collection. That's the thing, okay, that should be pondered. Why? Okay, separate libraries were later destroyed by zealot of the Islamic science intent of suppressing what they thought may be heretical works. Okay, Genghis Khan then destroyed almost all remaining Islamic book repositories. Okay, 1258, the Mongol burned all 36 public library in the city of Baghdad alone in 1 week. Alright. So Genghis Khan then destroyed almost all remaining Islamic book repositories. Okay. And then 1642, during the civil war in England, many books were removed from the monasteries, cathedrals, and university and destroyed. Some were used to rob books. Okay, so the keywords. This is the keywords related to the organization of the information. Okay. So in different contexts, we look at on the different contexts. Okay, there are many contexts in which there is a desire to organize information so that it will be retrievable for various purposes and will be kept for the posterity. Okay, where here we will focus on the three environment: library, museum, and archive. But we will also be glancing at the few moments or environments that adopted the element of organization of information, such as the internet and also the concept of the digital library. So library, as an introduction, we consider library first because library have the large tradition of organizing information for the purpose of retrieval and for posterity. Definitely, okay. If being compared library, museum, and archive, we know that library have more user, okay, that frequently use that kind of materials. Depends on the types of user itself also. Library is a depository built to contain a collection of literary document or records kept for the reference and study. So the term library is from a Latin word liber or libra, which mean book or writing. Okay. So what is library? I don't think that we can just access the video. Never mind later on. So a sneak peek at the library. This is Perpustakaan Raja Tun Uda Shah Alam. Now if I'm not mistaken, okay, there is no Perpustakaan Raja Tun Uda Shah Alam anymore. They go to 4P Pass, Perbadanan Perpustakaan Awam Selangor. Okay, the new building. And then Library of Congress. This is the building of the Library of Congress at Jefferson Building. So library and introduction is come from the word liber. Liber means book. Other definition is a place in which literary, musical, artistic or reference works such as book, manuscript, records of film are kept for use but not for sale. Okay, until now, okay, library do not sell their collection. A collection of such materials, Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Okay, so when you search or Google what is library, you will get various answers such as what is the definition of the library, what is the collection of the library, okay, what is the resources of the library, and what is the services in the library. So let's see. Types of library. I'm pretty sure all of you know the types of library. Please, okay, you are already senior. Part 3. Definitely this is your foods, okay, makanan you, right? Make sure you know about this. Sometimes, okay, when you go more, you learn more, the basic one you just left. This is not good actually. Alright. So types of library, we do have national library, public library, academic library, school library, and special library. So roles of library often used by people who choose not to or cannot afford to purchase an extensive collection by themselves. It's definitely, for example, the encyclopedia, the total of the encyclopedia itself also costs a lot of money. Okay, so that is why library being developed. Okay, we can just helps you be purchased and then you just borrow and then you return back. For example, you just can read inside of the library itself because of the cost. Alright, as place to get unrestricted access to information in many format and from many sources, providing assistance in navigating and analyzing tremendous amount of knowledge with a variety of digital tools, access to information, and OPAC. Okay, you know about OPAC, right? Allow user to search the library holding from any location with internet access. So collection in library, they have in the form of book or printed and also non-printed lah. Okay, including the digital one. And then profession of staff in library, this one, chief librarian, we do have library director, senior librarian, library officer, cataloger, index, and so on. So libraries around the world, we do have Vatican Library in Italy, have more than 50,000 manuscripts and 350,000 printed books. Lenin State Library, Moscow, collection of 25 million books and 2.5 million manuscripts. And Library of Congress, USA, collection more than 70 million items, 17 million books and pamphlet, the largest collection of incunabula books printed before year 5001. So since 1870s, has automatically received 2 copies of every book's copyright in US under Deposit of Library Material Act. This also being applied in the Malaysia. Okay. We can conclude that organizing information in library means organizing the resources or materials in library. So it is a collection or group of collection of books and other printed or non-printed materials organized and maintained for use either for reading, consultation, study and research. And collection is library scroll. Nowadays, most of the library prefer to buy the things in the electronic one. Okay, if they have an option to buy the electronic book for the same title as a physical book, so they will buy the electronic books. Okay, same goes to journals. Okay, before they do have a printed journal, but nowadays they prefer to subscribe to the database, and then all the journals, uh, all the articles, okay, that the user need, you will find directly to the journals. Okay. So how library acquire the materials? Collection in library are created through a process called collection development. Alright, so collection are developed often in 3 ways. The first one, librarians learn about the existence of new work. through review, publish announcement, or request from user and other appropriate material. It depends the way of that kind of information come to them. Alright, so for example, lecturer asks the librarian, okay, I want this book for my subject, so can you please provide at least 2 copies in this library so that my student who cannot afford to buy can just come to the library and find that kind of material. That is the example. Okay, gift are given to the library. Some of the library prefer to give the books or the materials that might not being useful at their library. Okay, so let's say they brought something, they have a mistake, brought something that brought some materials that might be not relates to the uh, library, that library, the subject of the library, so you just can donate that kind of materials. Okay, and also some of the personal collection, okay, that pass to the library to manage it. That is the gift. All right, and then approval plan work out with 1 or 2 vendor, bring in new item according to the pre-selected profile. That is the way they how they find the collection to be developed in the library itself. Less frequently, but still practiced in some academic and research library, resource buying trip to purchase special materials, particularly difficult to find foreign language materials. Okay, this what also being, this is the style. Okay, that is the way how we find the information, how we find the books that might be not really outside there. It's difficult to find. Okay, so there is a rare collection. So library also do practice that. Okay. So types of materials or collection in library: materials in the form of book, monograph or book pamphlet or other printed sheet, periodical publication, we do have newspaper, journals, magazine, bulletin, procedure conference, seminar and so on. Yearly publication, which is yearbook and almanac, and also monographic series. Okay, collection of materials or collection of short story, collection of book that compiled together with other series 1, series 2 and series 3, that's all. And then materials that is not in the form of book, cartographic material, which is map, globe, sailor chart, wall chart, atlas and so on. Okay, printed music, sounds recording, motion pictures and video recording and so on and so forth. Okay. So materials in library are organized, is operation by which recorded information is organized or arranged according to established standard and thereby made readily identifiable and retrievable. So activity involve descriptive cataloging, subject cataloging, classification, indexing and abstract. All these activities known as a bibliographic control. Okay. So this is the classification. This is the descriptive cataloging. This one you will teach again next semester how to use it, how to do this kind of style. Okay, while doing the cataloging, and then subject cataloging. This one that use LCSH, SLSH, and so on. So this is the index. Okay, index. No, normally people don't know how to use the index, but the truth is much easier for you. Okay, it's very easier for you to find the exact words inside of the books itself. Okay, by using index. So learn to use it. This is an abstract. They do have 3 categories of abstract. Okay, later on we will discuss about this. So problems in organizing information is part of the librarian. Cataloging and indexing are subjective acts. Okay, so librarian must determine what a specific piece of information is about. Try to anticipate all the different ways people might search for the information. Some might search for vehicles. Some might search for example, some might search by vehicles, for example. Some might search by motorcycle. Motorcycle is part of the vehicles. Okay, bus. Bus is part of the vehicle, for example. Okay, so we are trying our best for the librarian to find the keywords, the suitable keywords that might be used by other people, or the tendency that people will use that keyword to get that information or to get that material. That is the part of the librarian itself. People who look for information have different reason for wanting the information and research for it in different ways. It depends on you. Okay, it depends on the user itself. So library have to try their level best to make sure that process will suit with the user needs. Okay. So librarian problems in organizing of information, and other than that is many people who seek information are not sure exactly what they need. They don't know. Let's say, for example, I come from uh, before this, okay. Some of my customer, sorry, some of my user come to me and ask the question, Miss, can I have an idea what this topic is all about? So you don't know specifically. You want to know that kind of topic is based on what? Based on user itself, or based on the C subject, or based on your own experience. Okay, so many people who seek information do so without a vague idea of what they want. They don't know. Okay, for example, like you got an assignment guide. Okay, at the first place you read, you think that you understand, but later on while you start doing your assignment, you will have a lot of questions come out inside your head. That is the same thing happen to the librarian actually. Okay, librarian find it's difficult to focus a person information request as to match their request to the information in a book, predicle, web page, and so on. You don't know how to direct you, okay, which kind of which information resources that suit with your needs. Okay, sometimes we ask the user to find out the information directly to the web. Okay, but they don't know how to differentiate which a good information, which is a poor information. That is the problem facing by the librarians. So the solution by librarian, cataloger must follow accepted rules for classifying and listing information about library materials. Okay, so cataloger often deal with large backlog of material needing processing. It is important to find out why materials are the highest priority and need cataloging first. This is the common problems actually. Okay, cataloger must attend carefully to details, getting spelling and date punctuation exactly right. An error will make it hard for user to find the material. In fact, the words caps lock or not, okay, also being an issue. That's why if you want to become a librarian or cataloger, you must be very rigid, you must be very strict to follow, okay, the wording itself. Okay, when it's come to the digital world, if you typing error, okay, you have an error while type, which is spelling error and so on, so you cannot find, you cannot get the result of the material itself. Okay, so this is a glance of the Library Alexandria, Library of Congress, Harvard Library, Vertical Library, and also the Radcliffe Bodleian libraries. Okay, such an ancient one. Okay, so that's all for this week. Thank you so much for watching. So see you later on. Bye.